Welcome to the Excellent Life Podcast, a podcast where you are inspired, motivated, and challenged to live a life of excellence. On the show, I will cover topics like created for excellence, keys to living an excellent life, and living your very best life. My special guests will also share from their wealth of experience the principles for living an excellent life. I'm your host, Bola Mateloko, and I'm so excited to be with you today. Welcome to episode 8 of the Excellent Life Podcast. I remain your host, Bola Mateloko, and I am super excited and delighted to be with you today. The topic for today's show is the excellent mother. This past Sunday was Mother's Day, and this special episode of the Excellent Life Podcast is dedicated to celebrating my very own mother, who has been so influential in shaping me to be the person that I am today. Joining me to do just that is someone very, very dear to me. She is a professional chartered accountant with over 20 years experience in corporate and organizational accounting. She's passionate about helping people organize their finances in order to reach their financial goals and aspirations. She has coached and mentored many individuals and families successfully in this regard. As a versatile and knowledge-driven professional, she has various degrees and certifications that have enriched her professional pedigree. Happily married for almost 3 decades, she and her husband, through their ministry, Parenting Plus Network, empower Christian couples to live successful family lives. They have 3 children and are based in Ontario, Canada. Please join me in welcoming my sister and gist partner, Mrs. Adeyemi Olusoji, to the Excellent Life Podcast. Welcome, welcome, sis. So excited to be doing this with you.
Thank you so much for having me, my favorite big sister. I'm super excited to be on this episode, and I'm super proud of you for what you have done with the Excellent Life, podcast. I listen to all the podcasts, and I've listened to some.
You have no choice.
I've listened to some several times, and truly, it's really been, life transforming, very impactful, engaging, and encouraging you to be the excellent person that God has created you to be. So congratulations.
I couldn't have said it better. I absolutely couldn't have said it better. So today we're talking about one of our most favorite people in the world, Mom. Yay! I just thought I couldn't let Mother's Day go by without doing a special episode to celebrate the excellent mother that she has been and continues to be to our children. And I was reading Proverbs 31 that talks about the virtuous woman. And the more I read it, there were so many qualities that I picked out, that really describes who Mom is. And so I came up with this acronym for mother. So M is for manager, O is for outstanding, T is for trustworthy, H is for hardworking, E is for enterprising, and R is for role model. So we're going to play a little game. So we are each going to use one word to describe Mom. So 5 words in total. So my first word is consistent.
Beautiful.
Sacrificial.
Hospitable.
Loving.
Strong.
Resourceful.
Intelligent.
Committed.
Passionate.
Woo! Hallelujah. All those words are really, really accurate. So that takes me to my very first question. So when you think about Mom, we've used all these wonderful words to describe her, but when you really think about her, what's the thought that comes to your mind?
When I think about Mom, if I had to think of a word that aptly captures what I think of her, I think I would use the word devoted.
Ooh, I like that word.
Mom is very, very devoted. Over the years, she has shown her devotion to family, to her children.
Yes.
Recently I turned 50, and at the time I turned 50, I just wanted to kind of capture what my life was, over the last years, turning 50. And I brought out photo albums, photo boxes, and I was just looking through them. And, everywhere I turned to, I saw Mom in the pictures. She was there,
I know.
Birthdays, my matriculation, university. I saw so many birthday pictures while I was in university, and Mom was
she was always there. I know, like, you could drive down.
So I just saw it. Even I saw, pictures of cousins' weddings. Mom was there, so I just think about that. She is a very devoted person. She showed her devotion over the years. Every time I turned around when I had my children, Mom was there. She was just, I was just capturing all the memories. I was looking at the pictures and I was just thinking, wow, she's just been there. Mom is very devoted, and that's really who she has been over the years.
Absolutely. I was saying in church on Mother's Day that, there have been so many variables in my life, but the one constant has been Mom. It's like whether, I'm excited, things are going well, things are not going so well, she's always there. And I remember when I had my last baby, I had a C-section, so I really could not do anything for myself for like 1 week. And Mom would she was doing everything. She would bathe Joseph. She would make food for me. She would take him at night. And honestly, I kept saying to my husband that I really don't know what I would have done if she was not there. So she was just very, very present. I remember when I was in secondary school, everybody knew my mom's car.
Oh, yes.
Everybody knew my mom's car. And even before she came down from the car, people would come and say to me, Balane, your mom is here, because she was just ever present all the way from Lagos. She would, come all the way to Benin to come visit. So, I absolutely, agree. And for me, if I was to think of Mom, the other thing I think about is that she was a woman of faith. And I also think that is a quality that was passed to her from our own mother.
Yes.
Because I remember when grandma would come and visit, and I would go into Mommy's room in the morning, and she would be on her knees praying. And she would call the name of all her children. When she's done with calling all the name of her children, then she'll start calling the names of the grandchildren. And I just think that faith that was passed on to our own mother was what she made sure that she passed on to us as our children.
Yes, I agree with you. I really bless God for the legacy of faith, that Mom passed on to us and gave us the opportunity to really, know God at an early age. And, and I've always told my children that the building block of my life, the foundation, the rock, is my relationship with God. But I know it came from, what I saw, the example I saw in Mom, and truly to it, also in Grandma. There were some nights we slept in Mom's room. I don't know, but mischievous me when I was younger. I remember I used to wake up, because Grandma would be on her knees for hours. So, even if you were sleeping when she started praying, at some point you will wake up, because I really can't even imagine how many hours she was there. But I remember one of the nights really very well. It was in our house in our hometown. Grandma was around, and she started, she woke up in the middle of the night and she started praying. And I just, I sat up in the bed and I was thinking to myself that, okay, let's hear this woman and let her. And she named her children. And I was really looking forward to her missing out, a grandchild. Or
naming them out of sequence.
Exactly.
She never named them out of sequence too.
She never did. And I was really very impressed, because, Grandma had limited education, but for some reason, she was. And every time I remember her, somehow I just used to associate her with the Bible.
Yes,
she used to love to carry her Bible a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely.
She she wasn't very literate, but she learned to read her Yoruba Bible. And, she would always read the Bible at, I mean, growing up when I was young, now I know better. I used to feel that, reading the Bible was, supposed to be something you just do in the morning and you pray and then you go about. But, you would find Mama reading the Bible at different times of the day. And I used to wonder, but I know that it's those prayers that she lifted up to God on behalf of her children and her grandchildren that has, solidified, my walk with God. For that example, in my grandmother and in my mother.
Absolutely.
Of faith in God.
Absolutely. It's really, really, really amazing because it reminds me of, what the scripture says in the book of Timothy, when Paul was talking to Timothy and he said, the faith that was in your grandmother Eunice and now in your mother Louise. So because God deals with us, God is a multi-generational God. He said, I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And thank God for the foundation that our mother laid, she laid, that we also can build on now, to raise our own children in the way of faith. And that's really something that I'm really so very, very grateful to, for. And, you one of the words you used to describe her also was hospitable. I mean, mommy did not mind if the whole world was around her. I remember one time we're having some celebration in the house, and, as is usual, so many family members will come and they want to come and spend the night before the event. And I remember going into our room and there were like 10 people that came and they all wanted to sleep in her room. And I'm thinking to myself, what is going on here? But, she just loved to have people around her. And she had such a sweet spirit that actually draws people to her.
Mom has a very large heart that, is so full of love.
Yes.
I remember looking at my mom, at some point, and I was like, where does she get all of this love from? How is she able to love so many people at the same time and doesn't seem to get tired? Her heart, very large heart she had, that, loved people, accommodated people, and give to people. She was hospitable, she was generous. Mom would not spare anything. If she felt that someone needed, something, and she had the resources, she wouldn't even think twice before she would actually extend it to her, not wondering, maybe I might need it later on everything. Exactly. As long as it was a need in somebody's life at that point, she was just willing to, give it out. And so it's my joy to, to celebrate her on Mother's Day and every day of the year, really.
Every day of the year. And the other word too is that she was very sacrificial. I remember one time that, my sister had to pay her school fees and there really wasn't a lot of money to do so at that time. And she sold her gold. And I remember that even my sister, our big sister, didn't want her to do it. But she was like, what, am I just going to let them, send you out of school? Because she was in medical school at that time. And that's just who she was. Because I remember too that I'll be going to school and she was, okay, this is the last money I have. And I'll be like, no, if I take it, what would she say? Don't worry, I'll be okay. So she literally would put herself last. And honestly, my children make fun of me that, oh, Mom, you just want everybody to be fine. Because really that is what, I got from my mom. At times my husband would say something like, oh, yeah, just following this children. I'm like, no, it's the example that, I received from my mom that I just want them to be okay, even if it turns out to be to my own detriment, So
interestingly, it wasn't just, all about us too, but also the people that mommy gathered around us, I remember during my, like I said, I recently turned 50 and, on my secondary school, chat group, people were celebrating me and there were a few of my friends that, were close to us then. And, they were talking about, one said, oh, she learned how to cook jollof rice from mom because, the other one said, oh, it wasn't jollof rice that she learned. So she learned how to cook spaghetti and bolognese. And, so when people came around her, the same value she was imputing in us, she was also doing it. In fact, one of my friends said it was only our home that their parents would allow her to go and spend the night and will not blink an eyelid because they were confident of, the fact that she was going to be okay. So, people were celebrating me on my birthday, and they were making references.
Celebrating mom, yes.
They were celebrating my mom.
Yes, it's amazing. It's amazing.
She touched their lives, and they have not forgotten it. So that lightness of heart that she has,
it extended, outside of the family and the home. And it's true, because some of my friends too, they tell me stories about my mom. I'm like, really? Because that was just the person. She was so embracing, of our friends and family and everyone. So, okay. So I want to ask you, if you had to choose one memory, I know there's so many things we've talked about. If you had to choose one memory that really, really does stand out to you about mom, what would you say that you'd be like, oh my God, this really is a memory that is engraved in my heart forever?
Wow. That's like you're asking me almost an impossible question, because immediately you started asking the question, so many things were flooding my mind.
To your head.
I'm like,
even I'm thinking of that, because I'm also thinking that if I had to say, okay, what is one memory that, really sticks out? There just seems to be so many of them, right?
There really seems to be so many of them. I think, let me think. I think, okay. Our second son fell ill a few days to his first birthday. So we had to be, in fact, we had to be rushed to the hospital. It got to a point, we had gone into the clinic a few days, they had given him some medications, but it got to a point, it didn't seem it was getting better. And so we had to go to the hospital. And of course, when we eventually got there again, he was admitted into hospital. And then, it was a few days to his birthday that he was admitted. And I remember telling the doctor the night before his birthday that, so you have to discharge us. So this boy, he has to spend his first birthday at home.
Oh, wow.
At some point, he had a very high fever that he actually even convulsed in the hospital. But we thank God for preservation of life. So we kind of said, I told the doctor, I said, let him, it said, the doctor said, but he was born in a hospital. So what difference does it make? I said, no, he's not spending his first birthday in the hospital. So, he was discharged, and we went home, and, we were just happy that he was back home. It was okay, and I don't even know. Mommy turned up that day, and she was like, what's happening for his birthday? I said, we're not doing anything. We're just happy that he's birthday. He said, no, she just went and she created, as usual, a party. It was just a mini celebration. It was just awesome.
Oh wow, that just sounds like mom.
That day, and said, no, wow, it's his first birthday. We have to celebrate it.
Yes.
And she just did all the maneuverings, and there we were celebrating, Toby Lover's first birthday. Him at home, and that's so. That comes to my mind, but there's just so much, that
I think my very the first thing that came to my mind also has to do with my children. It was when I had my very first child. We were still in Nigeria at that time. So mom, of course, she came to stay with us. And honestly, mom would wash Daniel's clothes with her hands. We had a washerman, but she would be like, no. She doesn't want the washerman to wash his clothes. So she would wash his clothes. She would iron, those little clothes, she would iron the clothes by herself. She would take Daniel from me at night and keep him with her in the room. It was just, and I was just so amazed because, I was a first-time mom. So there was really, I didn't know a lot of things about, caring for a child. And she really just took charge. And in between this, she would still cook. She will do all kinds of things.
You forget she will go to the market. She will go to the market.
Talking about hard work. I was telling someone that my mom used to cook every single day. They couldn't believe it. Because my dad would always say he would not eat the same food from the previous day. And I remember that the only day mom did not cook was on Sunday. And we ate chicken. So she would go to the market on Saturday, and then she would buy chicken, and we would kill the chicken on Sunday morning before going to church. And you know how many days we would wake up at 6 a.m. so that we could make lunch before going to church. It was amazing because I remember as soon as I heard her along the, all the way, I would pretend like I'm still sleeping. And she'd be like, Bolani, Yemi, get up. It's time to go down. I'd be like, oh no. And she just did not tolerate laziness. She would always be like, I did not give birth to a lazy child.
Oh, yes.
And all that, training, the discipline, it has really, stood me, in good stead in raising my own children. So she really just laid an excellent example for us to follow.
Yes.
So if I had to ask you to say some closing thoughts to Mom.
Before I say my closing thoughts,
yes.
Proverbs 31 says, many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. That's his mom. Mom is an excellent mother. She excelled in every aspect of, motherhood. She excelled in every aspect of it. And she's an excellent mom.
I totally agree with you. And so, Mom, we want to say we love you. You're the bestest mom ever. I don't know if that's a proper word.
Oh, yes. She's
you are the bestest mom ever. And thank you for the godly example that you laid for us, that we are, enjoying the fruit and the benefit of it today. And so we bless you on this Mother's Day, and we say that you will continue to enjoy the fruit of your labors. And as I close the show today, I want to leave all mothers and mothers-to-be with the following affirmations. You are created to be your children's mom, and you are the very best mother for them. Amen. You do your very best for your children all the time. Amen. You pay attention to the positive aspects of being a mother. You love your children unconditionally, and you are completely committed to their success. You have a strong and special bond with your children. You are a praying mother and have a spiritual awareness of what is going on in the life of your children. You practice self-care so you can be the very best mother possible for your children. You are open to the lessons your children can teach you. You are firm, patient, and understanding in dealing with your children. You set an excellent example for your children to follow. Thank you so much, sis. It has been so much fun.
Yeah,
on the Excellent Life podcast. We definitely have to do this again.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. On the next episode of the Excellent Life podcast, I will be looking at the topic, maintaining healthy relationships. And I have a very special guest who will be joining me in this much needed discussion. Bye for now, and God bless you. Thanks for joining me this week on the Excellent Life podcast. I trust that you have been inspired by the show today. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Bola Mateloko, the Excellent Life Coach. And be sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes so you never miss an episode. If you love the show, please leave a rating on iTunes so that I can continue to bring you many more life-changing episodes. Thank you for listening, and I will be with you in 2 weeks for another inspiring episode. Till then, remember, it is possible to live your very best life.